Так, сейчас к мадам, как говорится, это упрочить наши любовные эти узы. В первую очередь.
Yes. Until that Quark appeared, I actually thought things were going relatively well, like with the sigil stone and this beacon. But a war with Narim, that changes everything. They trump us in every aspect. Manpower, equipment, siege machinery.
Кстати, от нее тоже слышал.
Tattoo. Oh, of course, you mean my mark. I've had that for as long as I can remember. And I don't have the slightest idea as to how I got it. Not without leaving a bad scar, at least according to the apothecary. And even if that weren't the case, I don't know if I'd want it gone. It reminds me of something. Yes, I know. Maybe it was Dalgalar when he, you know, treated me. But I fear I'll never find out now. No, it isn't. It's just there. It does. You're the first to tell me that. But thanks, I guess.
Тухлый разговор не то. Сейчас я приду в другое место, я тоже она будет сидеть. Но будет совсем другой диалог. Почему не здесь не поговорить, непонятно. Женщины? Реально не очень последовательно. Когда ночь Сараш Квест 2 дня назад. Сегодня 3-й день. Я думаю, что последний. Потому что, по идее, осталось квестов 5. Я достаточно хорош. У меня есть острый нож. Вот это вот все. У нас уже все не будет. Ну, непонятно. Непонятно, сколько уйдет времени на это все. То есть, сколько сейчас на улице. 23. Сколько уйдет на это время? Господи. Потом еще типа Тивена сыграть. Хотя вот сверхсильный руинить режим нельзя. Сыграть начинаем в понедельник, на часов 6-7 придется вставать. Вообще не кайф.
Sakura, you came. Thanks. I thought it was fitting for the occasion. Impressive, isn't it? From here it all seems so peaceful. As if there'd be no enemy army just in front of our gates. As if all this, the cycle, the high ones, the Naramis, were just imagination. So am I. I wanted... Do you want to hear something funny? The two of us, even though we haven't known each other for that long, we've been through a lot. We underwent the Sigil's trial, we fought our way through ancient ruins, and we found the forgotten home of the Star People. I'd say we make for quite an unusual couple, right? But still, what I'd like to ask of you tonight, I'm ashamed to. It seems so out of place, so mundane. Just follow me. I'll tell you when we get there.
Ну, давай, веди меня. Мне кажется, с ним нельзя. И по идее у тебя всего 2 цепочки, и ты вот один из диалогов выбираешь, типа, с кем затусить. Ну, либо ни с кем не затусить, если ты, типа, с ними срался все время. Хотя, возможно, даже так с ним можешь зарамать, потому что я, например, квесты на сестру Джарика эвейдил, все равно, типа, смог подмазаться к нему. Шли что ли или что? Че встал-то? На ко мне в хату идет?
They just sit on their asses and hope things settle themselves. Idiots.
На самом деле, вот в рамках этой игры проверить бы
Yeah.
пол
Smells
игрока,
if I didn't
кого
tell
он
them that
выбирает,
I'm
типа
ready.
в плане игры, мужчину или женщину. И кого романтит. Типа, сравнить, что, как оно выходит. Потом спросить, почему. Посмотреть. Кстати, сон. На кладбище идем. К матери своей, типа, нашла мать. Или она в этот местный храм венчаться пошла. Я, типа, не очень за.
Yes?
Yes.
My Dame.
Наверное, это, конечно, лучшее место. Так, что-то у меня убрали. Не спали, у меня раздели. Шлем сняли.
The Nighthawks. They're a small minstrel group from Duneville, and they came here to play despite the situation. I guess I always have. I've just never permitted myself to enjoy it before. It seemed so useless. But then I realized there's a point where you've done everything you can. And be honest, Sierra, we don't know what the next few days or even hours will bring us. We could die. And if that should happen, I want to be able to say, yes, Kalia, you gave your life for something meaningful. You pursued your ideals until the very end. But despite all that, you didn't forget to just let go from time to time. You didn't forget to live, or to love. You may, and it means a lot to me. So, Saira, let's dance together. For tonight, let's just forget about everything else. The high ones, the cleansing, all the things we've had to see. Screw it.
Как же я хуярю, а?
A hard life this is. A hard life.
The best wine in all of Enderal. Come, give it a try.
И ачивку дождали. Вы выиграли сердце Кали Саракеш. Сакареш.
Small minds, all of them, as if they knew anything about art.
Fine vintage.
That's just how it is.
Это Соня. Ее даже вчерашний шторм не разбудил.
Small minds, all of them, as if they knew anything about art.
That should be it.
The best wine in all of Enderal. Come, give it a try.
But that's how it is. Life is what you make of it.
Huh? What do you want?
Так, ну что, теперь этот квест. Поговорить с Джаспером. С магистром Елой. С Тиллером. И так далее. Вообще, со всеми диалоги, разговоры и так далее. Поехали. Продолжаем смотреть фильмец вместо игры. Так, мне нужен модер онлайн какой-нибудь. И поставьте плюсик, опять же, кто считает, что Тали лучшая вайфу. Вот так вот. Видите, вы сами прекрасно понимаете, что на самом деле она дерьма кусок. Типа, если есть вариант заромансить Гаруса и их либрануть немножко вместе. Другого варианта перед вами даже стоять не может.
Yes.
Madame.
What? An outlander.
Я же мужчина, так я тоже мужчина. Ты хочешь сказать, ты не хочешь меня? Ты что, выебать?
And so the circle closes.
Wait, I think I know you.
Three virtuous
You helped the
souls we are
Grandmaster crush
mourning
those nervous
today.
bastards at the Harbor Gate,
But
didn't
fear
you?
not.
Что такое?
they
Соус
gave
отлично,
their
никто не
lives for a
поймет.
just cause,
Не сделал ошибку.
for the greater good, and will thus be walking on
I
the
just don't
endless
see the
paths
fucking point.
forever, together with our Lord Malthus. Magistra Jailer, keeper of the third sigil and master of the archives. Stalwyn Willowsong, keeper of the first sigil. And Legion Lightman Novice. May the Lord receive your souls today and grant you that you may walk the paths for eternity.
Oh, just shut up, won't you? As if you believe any of this yourself.
Keeper, you...
Malthus is dead. Our Lord is dead. And if even he could not last through the ages, how is he supposed to lead us along the eternal paths? A dead god?
Take her away.
Yes, just go on. Close your eyes and pretend that none of this is happening. It's what you've always been good at. The cleansing is our punishment, don't you see?
After all these centuries,
The punishment because
what
we
has
failed
this
the light
world
born.
come to?
That we let someone kill them. And the High Ones will take us all. Do you hear me? They will take us all.
Keep going.
But...
Keep going.
Magistra Jailer, keeper of the third sigil and master of the archives. Stalwyn
Then
Willowsong,
I
keeper-
suppose I should rethink my plans. In any case, I need to go now.
Не, ну Рекс, ты знаешь, это как собачка, типа. То есть, общество порицает. Даже если ты панин, все равно порицает. Не мешайте грунту с Рексом. Не справится без вас. Скарный, запрещенное слово, у нас таких нет. Порицаем тебя. Все, живцевый орел.
Now, isn't this a surprise? The world's nearing its end, yet the prophet takes the time to pay me a visit. What do you need? It does what most injuries do. Hurts. But I'm a lot better, thanks for asking. Truth be told, just lying around here doing nothing's what's bothering me the most at the moment. Oh my, you make it sound so dramatic. I don't think this will be the end, though. Say what you want about this place, but it'll be a long time before Korak's men break through. The apothecarius said I might even be able to help if I rest for just a few more hours. Just be careful, all right? And find the Numinos.
Так, готово. С Тилером еще поговорить бы.
Yes. Prophetess. Yes. Why do you ask? They did. What are you getting at? A fair point. But in the future, just be upfront. I do not like such veiled remarks. So, yes, my time in the prison was harsh. The hunger, the degradation, to name the most obvious. The worst, however, was the isolation. Ironically enough, that was the last thing I had expected, you know. From all the suffering there is, it seems so banal. But it isn't. You either find ways to cope with it, or it breaks you. Fortunately, I managed to do the former. For me, it was memories of the time before my incarceration. The prospect of what would come after it. They were my window into the outer world, so to speak. They reminded me that I was more than this deprived creature I had become in those dungeons. Strange. Everything seemed too bright, too unreal. I especially felt that in the cloister with Narazul's mages. I had difficulty talking to other people, and whenever I did, it felt as if the others were like wax figures. Like some cruel joke put in front of my eyes in order to mock me. Better. Our mission, my responsibility here as a leader, it has helped me to find my way back into the real world. What would have been the alternative? A life as a fisherman? If the things I had to live through taught me one thing, then it was how important it is for me to be right here, right now, doing what I do. In fact, this is precisely what is missing in the world. People who do not let the whims of fate break their resolve. Now, enough of this. We have business to attend to. The same I thought before. They are our enemies, and they want to destroy us. I do not care about their motives, even though I have to admit that knowing their true nature is a disquieting thought. An entity created from the collective consciousness of a civilization. Something like that should not be allowed to exist. Yes. Koarek will not dare sending his troops straight against our walls. That would be tactical suicide. For now, we are safe. However, the red madness is getting worse by the minute. The cleansing is closing in. I can feel it. You know, I know Natara better than you might believe. And I know the reason for her untouchable demeanor. Fear. She's afraid of losing something important to her. Something that she helped to create, and that is the Order. You probably do not know this, but unlike most keepers, Natara was not born of the sublime path. Even more than us, she had to fight for her place here. And through immense willpower and discipline, she made it. Not only to become an ordinary keeper, but into the highest league. Correct. It is all she has ever lived for, and she's afraid that change will destroy it. Your admission into our ranks, our truce with Narazul's mages. She believes that my imprisonment made me into a fool whose only intent is to get his will. She does not realize that all that has happened burdens me as much as it burdens her. And that I would give a lot for her support, rather than this ridiculous bickering. That's none of your concern, but I presume you have your assumptions. Everybody needs someone to back them up from time to time. You know, as humans, we are not so different from animals as some try to make us believe. We are like wolves, and every pack needs a leader. Someone in front who is not afraid to make the hard calls. And this is who I am. I did not ask for it, but I will not fail.
Тоже этот, как он назывался? Deus Ex.
And I cannot let that happen. But that does not mean that I regret any of the decisions I have made. None of them.
Суровый мужик, конечно, 30 лет просидеть в тюрячке, потом вот высирать вот это вот, то, что он высирает, не так и плохо. Что по месту еще суть сейчас. Ну, короче, мы ищем. Карту ее нужно декодировать, потому что она на неизвестном языке, чтобы отправиться в город предыдущей расы. Видишь, пока, ну, то есть сутки подождал. Лучше не стало. Подожду еще пару и спущусь вниз. Вот, отлично. Вот, дешифровали.
Yes? Well, as I told you, I was never very popular with the other novices. You know, the novitiate was very challenging. The magisters only rarely gave us days off to contemplate, as they called it. The others usually used it to go to the tavern to gamble and drink. I never really liked that kind of pastime, and I still don't. I've never really thought about things like that. You know, life in the temple is quite secluded, and I doubt there are many men or women who would find my way of living attractive. But forgive me, that's very personal. I don't really want to talk about it. That's true, but when I feel the need to relax, I prefer taking a stroll or spending time in the baths. Whatever secret there is about relaxing to loud music, raucous shouting, and alcohol is beyond me. Tattoo? Oh, of course, you mean my mark. Yes, it is. Master Tyrus, my foster father. He was half Kyranian, as you might have guessed already. Some words just stuck around.
Huh. You're the one they call the prophetess, aren't you? Congratulations on passing the trial. I guess. Huh. You're the one they call the prophetess, aren't you? Congratulations on passing the trial. I guess.
Так, и чё, она будет, нет, со мной разговаривать? Чё не так-то? Мидкалия in front of the Emporium. Я нахожусь в Emporium. Чё не так-то? Чё квест не заводится?
Saira? But a war with Narim, that changes everything. Yes, it is. Master Tyrus, my foster father. He was half Kyranian, as you might have guessed already. Some words just stuck around.
Перезайти. А, стоп. Она тоже выехала из дома. Как сложно.
Saira, it's good to see you. So, are you ready? The Grandmaster said by tonight Sharim should have deciphered the old maps.
Вот, следующий, типа, разговор стрелится событие, которое приведет к концу Эндерала, окончанию Эндерала. Если вы хотите типа, сделать что-то в игровом мире, сделайте типа, это сейчас, прежде чем назвать этот диалог. Я готов.
Alright then, let's wait until nightfall. Go on ahead, I'll follow.
Сол, твоя, кстати, эта психология так себе работает. То есть на секунду представим, что какой-нибудь отчим ебет тебя в анал. Ты же не будешь искать в этом плюсы, что типа, ну всего один хуй, типа, ладно, нормально. Некоторые вещи типа плохие, если они плохие, не надо придумывать им оправдания. Хотя кому-то это нравится, ладно.
Prophetess, there's good news. We were able to decipher the Starling's maps, and we now know where to find the City of a Thousand Floods. Sharon was just about to explain. Sharon?
Yes. I suppose you already know that Vin hasn't always been like it is now. In the time of the Pyreans, it was one big continent, which they called Pangora. Only the Starfall in the era of Azateron's madness split it apart. In other words, the Pyreans dominated the entire world as it was back then. It was a world empire. However, until recently, we always thought that the Empire's capital, the City of 1,000 Floods, was situated somewhere near where Kira is today. We were wrong about that. It was here, in Enderal.
Here?
Here, beneath our feet, to be precise.
Under Ark?
Yes. We don't know whether it was a coincidence that Malfa's vassals set the foundation of Ark here, out of all the places they could have. But they did. The heart of the Pyrean Empire was here, right where we stand. Only it's buried now. Hardly.
Sadly, the Order never cared much for archaeology. We considered it a useless endeavor. And even if there had been private undertakings, the dangers such an expedition posed, let alone its costs, would have scared off most investors.
But still, you're right. If the Order would have bothered, we could have saved ourselves a lot of trouble. However, it doesn't matter now. What matters is we now know where the last cleansing took place, and that it's somewhere we can reach. True, but there might be another way. Do you know the myth of the Black Guardian? The Endralians believe that there is some kind of demon deep down below the surface, and that you can even hear him scream if you just listen carefully. Rubbish, of course, but I think that these screams are the sound of wind. And if there's wind...
There are tunnels. So are you suggesting that the Undercity's cavern reaches that deep? Into the City of Floods?
Into what is left of it. All we need to do is find an entrance point that can lead us down.
Then we leave without further delay. There's no point in leading an army down there, so the four of us will go alone. Prophetess, speak to the Archmagister and tell him to give you the word of the dead and the container for the Numinos. We will need both. He's at the beacon.
Shouldn't we at least think this through before we go?
Ready your equipment. We'll meet at the gate to the Undercity.
Так вот, поехали. Как он говорит, как оказалось, типа, город, который мы ищем, оказался не где-то в ебенях, а прямо здесь, под арком. Сейчас мы будем туда отправляться.
Never. How can I help you? He was, but he went to get some. You know, when all this started, when the Grand Master exalted you, I thought it was, but now, phew, I think Malphas or whoever sent you that he did. Oh, say, it. The beacon. Do you really think it'll work? I mean, I'm just a novice, but I just don't understand. You know, it was the Naramis, under the command of that butcher Korik. My family has a small farm near the coast, and when the first of the Naramis ships landed, I immediately our farm. It's on a small cliff near the farmer's coast, just a few miles from Ark. I already had a bad feeling when I set out. And then I saw the smoke. And then there was that...
Равикс, ты про Хайстванов спрашиваешь?
And... the smell of burnt meat. I rode faster and faster, and then... when I got to the house...
А Лайборн ты не встречаешь, он всего один, и он уже мертв.
and that someone had put up 3 crosses.
Это типа местный бог был.
And they were burning too. My mother, my father, and I just stood there. And there was nothing and it doesn't matter how I try to look at it. It all amounts to one thing. I was too weak.
Ну, возможно, всех Астван Вальборн, я хуй знает.
That wouldn't have happened to you, would it? You would have done something. You would have saved them. Just as you'll save us. If I could just be more like you, then your flesh. Yes, that's it.
Все ее кровавое безумие хватит.
All I need is a piece of your flesh. And nothing like that will ever happen again. Why? Is that so hard to understand? I don't. But you just don't want to share. Isn't that it? You want it all for yourself. Because you're vain. And in all your damn vanity, you don't even see the futility of the whole thing. The beacon won't burn. It never will. Thousands have tried it before you. Thousands who are as arrogant as you are. And they all failed.
Because the light will burn you. It will devour you until there's nothing left of you.
Я не под контролем.
Nice and crisp. You're familiar with that, aren't you? Prophetess.
But Malthus, we need to stop.
Ебать, вот это убийство.
By the name of the sun, they were possessed. How is that possible? I thought the sigil stone protects us. Oh, of course. Wait. Oh, the damage is within acceptable limits. Nothing we shouldn't be able to repair. But wait, what is that noise? Oh, by the righteous path. I think you should see this.
What in blazes happened here? And what is that noise?
The Neramis. They are in the city. Their entire army.
What? No. This is impossible. This is impossible! And this? What's the meaning of this bloodbath?
I don't know, Grandmaster. The High Ones somehow were able to possess the Keepers here. They tried to destroy the beacon and kill the Prodigy.
What? But the stone, we...
Grandmaster, you have to see this.
What? That the Naramis are in the city? I know that already.
No, we know how they did it. The true Chessa betrayed us.
Nonsense.
It's the truth. She and almost a third of the Keepers followed Bartar's example.
Come, you should hear it for yourself.
Блять, у них еще один предатель, много предателей.
The temple gates be closed right away and positioned archers on the battlements. At least for now, none of these Neramis bastards will enter the temple.
Well done.
Самым стихим, что нужно Enderal по итогу, но они пришли, то есть они думают, что очищение приведет людей в новый этап развития, в новый этап эволюции, и они хотят мешать нам уничтожить Хайстванов. И остановить очищение.
There. She said, "Open your eyes, traitor."
What? Hi, Grandmaster. I am so sorry. It shouldn't have happened like that. Oh, my Malthus. What have I done?
Tell us what happened.
Of course, Grandmaster. I will. The Trichessa. She contacted Korak and asked for...
She's bleeding to death, Grandmaster. We need to get her into the curarium.
We will, once we're done. Continue. The Trichessa arranged a meeting with Korak. What did she want from him?
A truce. She offered him the city. If he would promise not to harm anyone. She had this stone. You know, the sigil stone that protects us keepers from the High Ones. Korak. He agreed. Once the gates were open, he
killed everyone.
Yes, the Trichessa. He just... Even though she kept her end of the bargain. Then they swarmed into the city and... Oh, my Malphus, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Take her to the curarium.
Yes, yes, of course, Grandmaster. Lirum, Yetta, bring me a stretcher.
Wait. You have to forgive me. I mean, we only wanted the best. You have to believe me. Please don't let me die as a pathless. Please.
I forgive you. Now go.
Yes. Yes, of course, Grandmaster.
Почему они такие жесткие, спрашиваешь? Потому что каждый хайванс это либо квинтэссенция всей нации, расы, собранные воедино, либо это что-то, что его питается целыми народностями и так далее. Еще они реально просто очень плотные.
We will not. We are no more than 6 up here, and the Naramis are thousands. And both our black powder and our boiling oil are in the barracks.
And it's over. We've lost.
What? No! Nothing is over! They can't be that far into the city yet. We only have to drive them out of the gates and then...
And how exactly are you planning to do that? By loading the cannons with sugar mint and shooting balls of herbs at the Naramis? Great idea, really.
You sodding!
Quiet! Narajil and Sharim are right, Commander. Ark is lost. But our war against the High Ones isn't. The beacon still stands, and it will continue to do so as long as we hold the temple. We've lost the battle, yes, but not the war. All we need is the Numenors, and then the beacon will be lit.
And what then? I don't think Korak will withdraw once we've destroyed his vision of this ascent.
Correct, he won't. Which is why we will surrender.
What?
It is the only way. As I said to the Trichessa before, this war is about more than just us. If we choose to give up now, or if we choose to fight and die down there, Korak will destroy the beacon either way, and let the cleansing happen. We will prevent that at all costs. Which is why we will find the Numenors, light the beacon, and then surrender.
But Korak will kill us all.
Yes, he will. We will die, but there is no alternative. Korak isn't man enough to participate in the battle himself. So even if we were to break out in fight, all we would do is kill his delusional soldiers. And their deaths would be as pointless as this entire war. Once the High Ones are vanquished, we've done our duty. That's it.
But no! We are warriors, and true warriors fight. You've said
True
that.
warriors ask questions. Like the question, when does a battle for ideals become nothing more than a battle for vanity? Those soldiers down there, Commander, they are nothing more than butchers. But we are more than that. But I will not stop you. As soon as the beacon is lit, you're free to flee. But for now, you will hold this place at all costs while we search for the Numenors. Archmagister, do you have the word of the dead?
I do, yes. How do you plan to get into the Undercity from here? The entire city is swarming with Corax's soldiers.
Leave that to me. Commander Aaron, gather the remaining keepers and arcanists. I will address them. You all know what has happened. We were betrayed by our own brothers and sisters. As we speak, people are dying, slaughtered by the Naramis, who think we are their enemy. And I know what you are feeling right now. Anger. Anger aimed at those in our ranks who did this to us. But you're wrong. Despite their deed, they wanted to protect us, to fulfill their holy duty. And the same applies to Korek and his soldiers. Yes, they are deluded. Yes, they have committed crimes past redemption, but they, too, only did what they thought was right. If there is someone to blame in all this, it's the High Ones, and no one else. They, brothers and sisters, they are the ones responsible. They have no mind, no compassion, no soul, and their only reason for existing is to destroy. They are cowards who act out of the shadows and play us against each other like puppets on strings. And right now, they think they have won. They think they can defeat us. But they will fail, because we are still here. We have the beacon, the only thing capable of stopping all this madness. And that is exactly what we're going to do. After that, you are free to go. Flee, fight, do whatever you think is best. I myself will surrender, because every drop of blood spilled after we have done our duty and destroyed the High Ones is useless. And even if the Naramis kill me, my death will be a sign. A sign that people like Korek will never understand. Hatred breeds hatred. This is what history has taught us, and this is what makes the High Ones strong. Stand by me when the time comes, or go. But until then, fight.
Такая себе речь. Лучше бы стишок зачитал.
It's just madness, all of it.
Madness? This is Sparta. Ту-ту-ту-дум. Ту-ту-ту-ту-дум. Тебя он убедил. Ну иди сражайся, я-то чё? Я против.
Malphas's blessings.
And there she goes. 4,000 years this city has stood. And now she is aflame. It is a tragedy. There is another way. I suppose you already know that the Order was never proud of the fact that something like the Undercity exists. And due to your dealings with the Relata, you also know that we, the Order, had an informal agreement with them. They rule the underground and we rule the surface. In reality, however, this is only half the truth. We never handed over the reins entirely. There is a Plan B in case things get out of control and the Undercity's inhabitants revolt, like they did once during the Blood Moon riots.
Probably. I will make it short. There's a set of tunnels throughout the King's Mountain on which this temple was built, and they lead all the way down into the Undercity. They were built to release poison gas into the entire cave system. It would have been an option. With the gates to the surface barred, no one would have survived. Down and back up again, yes. The Nerimes do not know about these tunnels, and when they find out, it will be too late. We descend, we find the Numenors in the City of Floods, and we light the beacon. After that, you know what I will do. There is a way into the tunnels through the dungeons of this temple. Meet me and Sharim there once you're ready to depart. And bring your beloved with you. Prepare yourself. We will meet in the dungeon.
Опа, бабосы. Отличное место для хранения. Так, в Enderal наиграно 117 часов, вот прямо только что. 117 час случился, вот секунда. Ты спросил, я свернулся. 116 поменялся на 117.
Saira. No, and so unnecessary. Rampaging through the streets, slaughtering innocents, yet they still think they're doing the right thing. Sad, isn't it? Anyway, no point in worrying about it now, I guess. What did he say? How is he planning to get us down into the Undercity? So a system designed for genocide turns out to be our path to salvation. If fate has anything, it is a sense of humor. Anyway, there is one thing I wanted to ask you before we set out. If things happen as Aranthiel thinks they will you surrender to Quarek? Yes, especially with all that. I'm glad you see it that way. Let's wait and see what happens. Maybe there will be a way to flee through the tunnels once we've lit the beacon. There has to be. I'll go meet up with Sharim and the Grandmaster. I'll see you there.
Huh? What do you want?
Локи, ну не говорил бы, что меня. Я ж ее потом верну.
Poison gas tunnels. If there's one thing the Holy Order has always been, it's creative. My respect for that, I reveal.
They're here. One moment.
Interesting. If I may ask, Grandmaster, how does that work?
It's a sigil, and it can only be opened by one bearing the Grandmaster's sword. Follow me. As long as we do not open them, we can pass safely through the tunnels.
Ох, ребят.
In case you were wondering, those 3 water gates up there contain the Starling machinery which releases the poison gas. As long as we do not open them, we can pass safely through the tunnels.
So, this tunnel system, how many exit points does it have? I assume that a single exit into the Undercity wouldn't have sufficed to poison it all by itself, would it?
No. There are a total of 8 exits, and we will be using the one that leads into the Crow District. According to Maragil, we should be able to find a suitable entrance point into the old depths from there.
Prepare yourself.
Lead the way, prophetess. You know this area better than we do.
You have to die. Every single one of you.
Все типа здорово, но здесь нельзя выйти.
Enemies, get ready. There.
Waste of time. More lackey.
Like the bite of a flea.
Malthus turned away and extended its arms towards the sky, and thousands of lightning bolts crashed down onto the wretched city, destroying everything, even the shaft of paralyzed and salvaged the sun.
This is the place. Sharim?
Yes, take cover.
Impressive.
Реально впечатляет.
Lead the way, prophetess. You know what we are looking for.
Saira, you look pale. It was the echo again, wasn't it? Stronger.
That might be because we're getting closer to where the last cleansing happened. If we just follow the visions, they might lead us directly to the temple, and thus to their version of the beacon.
They're trying to prevent us from reaching the temple.
Вот овсы. Какие-то бомжи, так и есть. Совсем бомжи. Ну, то есть, они, давая мне 3 стрелы, снимают столько хп, что я не зарегениваю с их пожирания. Хотя нормальные ребята даже фул хп не регенят. Настолько они сильные. Здесь совсем слабенькие были.
A city of 1,000 floods. The name of the sun. It's so beautiful.
And dangerous. Come, we need to get down there.
He has betrayed us! Jakal opened the gates and now they're killing everyone!
The temple! Retreat to the
You
temple!
had a choice, and you've chosen ignorance. Now pay the price.
What did you see?
Периане кто-то тоже предал их и помог Джакалу попасть в город. И вот, и выглядит так, как будто у него были те же мотивы, что и у Корока.
In other words, all that we have done so far is almost identical to how things went for the Pyreans. We are still part of the pattern.
But does that mean everything we have achieved hasn't made any difference at all? That we found the Black Stones, the ancient starlings.
All that the Prophet has seen is that someone betrayed the Pyreans too, and that this jackal was deluded as this fool Korek. We knew that already. We are the first to be so close to lighting the beacon. I can feel it. What a waste of time. What a waste of time.
By Malphas, all these corpses. How can they still be here? They should have decayed long ago.
Good question.
Yes.
Looks like magic to me. Look at how gray their skin is. Like ashes.
Cleansing. It must have done this to them. What we see here, it must have been their final moments before the High Ones devoured them.
Чисто Помпеем.
You're right. They must have tried to get into the temple, into safety. In vain. This is tragic.
Yes, very tragic. Are you done?
Impressive.
I suppose we have company.
You are impressive, you know that? Everything around you is falling apart, yet you refuse to give up. Tell us, Seraphia, what makes you keep going?
Are you trying to manipulate me? If so, save your breath and fight instead.
Oh my, so grim. How nice it would be if everything could just be killed, wouldn't it? Even the past. Tell us, do your companions know the truth about you? All of it?
Let's go. This is pointless.
Pointless. You wound us. All we want is to help them understand. Just look at them. How clueless they are.
Are you deaf? Shut up. Your games don't work on me.
We'll take that as a no.
But there has to be a way.
Not here in Inodan, Tilo. We could hide the pregnancy, but a living child? A lightborn and a mortal. It's blasphemy. As ridiculous as that may sound coming from my mouth. You could flee with him, you know. Take him somewhere where no one will find you.
What? Erlander, that... No. They would recognize us for who we are.
Not if we took precautions. But even if they did, no one would dare oppose a Lightborn. No one. Tilo, please, don't let him grow up without a father. He will be special, I can feel it, and he will need you.
What is this? But... No, I can't. The Council, Erlander. You know what they said about me. They want to do it.
You mean the exaltation? I can't believe you just said that. This is about a child, Tilo. Our child.
Yes, our child. Why don't you tell me another 1,000 times? I have obligations.
Stop this!
Damn it. And you should know that better than anyone else. You know how hard I've worked to get here, Erlander. And now you want me to give it all up? For this thing?
Tilo, how? I just don't know what to say. Being a seraph, it's a title by the name of the sun. A title. How can that possibly be more important to you than... Oh, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Of course you can't. You've never known what it means to have to fight for something. We will give him away to one of your servants. It is better that way, for him and for us.
What would have happened if you had been there for your son, I wonder? Would he have ever started to blame the gods for this deep hatred lurking inside him? You made your son into what he became, and all because a promotion was more important to you than your own flesh and blood. And that is why you will fail here, don't you see?
Не, Равикс, это вообще никак не связанные вещи.
Because failing is what you do. As a soldier, as a protector of the gods, and as a father. You are a butcher, a loser, not the glorious savior you want people to remember you as. Admit it already.
Kirosh, that's a lot of them. What are your orders, Grandmaster?
We will see about that. So, you increase the courage, cover our backs. You fight my son. What you made of.
Это урон наносит. Урон наносит тебе. Пожалуйста. Меня маг подвыебывает постоянно. Так-то все крайне ок уже.
It's locked. What do we do?
We will break it open. Do you see the ballista up there? Keep a Sakarish. You. Wait. Do you feel that?
Name of the sun. Wait, she's moving.
Yes. Yes, that is good. Stay with us. You were hit by a piece of debris, but we are safe, at least for the moment.
Подруга моя где?
His attack brought down the entire facade, but it also cut him off from us. He will not be able to get inside here. The building came down on top of her. There was... I know how close you were. I'm sorry. Yes, and we will. But to do that, we need to find another way out of this place. So, no matter what else we do, we first have to go deeper into the temple. That arrogant display of the High Ones was a bluff. They are afraid of us, and this puppet show out there was their last trump card. But they have failed. All that matters now is that we summon the High One and take the Numinos from him. Thank the gods your injuries are only superficial. You will not be able to get inside here.
В смысле, что все это время Бикон работает?
Ты пытаешься подлизаться ко мне? Забудь об этом.
Захотелось снова погрузиться в Skyrim. Что за сборка у тебя?
Читаю название стрима. Все есть.
Interesting. That must be the echo. We are so close to where the last cleansing happened that not only the prophetess sees it, but we do as well.
Пока что все это время они запустили маяк, он работал, и то есть мы какой-то хуйней, значит, занимаемся. Ну, скачать можно в Стиме.
They must not harm it.
Prophetess. Do you have the word of the dead with you?
Yes.
Good. Then place it in front of the beacon and prepare yourself. Prophetess, it is now up to you. Somehow you must recall the moment when the last cleansing happened. If Yaela's theory is right, this is the only way to get our hands on something close to a physical form of a High One. No, but maybe you can somehow lure it. According to all that you have told me so far, the Echo seems to react to things or situations connected to the cycle. Take a look around and see if you can find some. All right.
Короче говоря, буду, что запуск бикона и запустил типа очищение.
The beacon was created to banish the High Ones from existence, but to do that, we need something from them. They are similar to magic, or the power responsible for the tides. They are pure energy.
Один в один диалоги. С тем, что мне уже говорили.
He has betrayed us! Jakal opened the gates and now they're killing everyone!
The core of this sickness is in people's heads. It is a way of thinking. But you will never understand that, High Priest, will you?
It was almost as if the beacon longed for the stones. They are the key. I feel it.
Feeling, Prophetess, luring the Echo like that, it must have strained you. It does, indeed. We are in the consciousness of a past civilization. Do you see that up there? Yaela was right after all.
This is our Numinars, the essence of a High One.
I wish you could see this.
Unbelievable. I have done it. In spite of everything. We are in his thoughts. What could you do against that? Time does not exist here. At least not as we know it. We will see about that. Maybe that question will answer itself. Sharon, do it. Carry the container to the essence.
As you command, Aranthio.
Нихуя как он умеет.
What is it? What are you waiting for?
Tell me, Aranthio. Back in the ruins, when the High Ones showed you that memory, it was the first time I saw you express real agitation. Not anger, but agitation. What you did to your son. Do you regret it, I wonder? That you abandoned him in exchange for prestige and power.
What?
I don't think you do. What got to you was being reminded of your own failure. Regret. You don't know that feeling. You never have. Not even after Kira.
Sharon, what are you?
I hired the mercenaries with Kali. I helped him kill Lashari. And I let the Naramis into the city. And still, you don't have the slightest idea who I am, do you?
Why, you were there. The night of 1,000 fires.
Yes. I survived your massacre. One of only a few.
Then you did not follow my son because you shared his ideals. You did it to get to me. What for, Yusna? Justice?
Justice. I am done with this world, Aranthio. I have been for a long time now. The only reason why I'm still here is a promise I made to someone. The promise that one day, I will be the one who takes everything from you.
Yusna, this is madness. Whatever you are planning to do, it will affect the whole world, not just me. If you want my death, why not just wait, damn it? Once we have lit the beacon, Korek will kill me. That way, all those innocent lives will be.
Just shut up! You take me for such a fool? As if there's anything in this world you would want more than to die a martyr! Teodor Aranthio, conqueror of the High Ones, savior of mankind. You like the sound of that, don't you? You like it so much. You know, at first, I was so frustrated with all the setbacks. When the Prophetess saved Lashari's research in Old Roshengrad, and when Quarek's first attack on the city didn't succeed. But then I realized that all of this would be so much more gratifying than anything else I could do to you. Your final attempt, and so close to your target, only to fail by my hand.
You asked me once what my daughter's name was. Do you remember?
Yes, I beg you, please.
Lena. Her name was Lena.
No. That's impossible.
О чем они говорят? Ну, в общем говоря, вот этот мужик когда давным-давно развалил, оказывается, всех друзей, родных, короче, почти всех, кого только можно было, от второго мужика. Он же один из немногих и поклялся отомстить ему. И вот, собственно, много раз пытался поднасрать, ничего не получалось, но он нашел способ, как поднасрать вот в самый-самый-самый финальный момент, когда уже типа все.
You fool. Miserable, selfish fool! You killed us all!
Impressive, Raphael. You really were close. A shame that you were too preoccupied with yourself to see it coming.
Beasts! You damn beast! He was possessed! Possessed from the start!
Oh no, Raphael. I'm afraid that is only half true. We reap, but you sowed. Of course we possessed him, but you did all the heavy lifting back in Kira when you gave the order to massacre everyone dear to him, including his wife and his poor daughter. And so, it is a happy ending after all, isn't it? Without the Nominos, you have nothing to use the beacon's power on. And the only thing it is good for now is the destruction of your own beloved city. It will be a feast, and there will be nothing left of you once we've devoured you. Nothing but cold, gray flesh. It is just as we said. You have failed as you always have done. What is it, Arathio? Lost your tongue?
No. No. I have not. Not at all. You have just presented me with a solution.
Are you deaf? There is no solution. The cleansing will happen, and you will all die.
Yes. Yes, we will. Your Messiah, the citizens of the city, the armies, we will all burn like the sun. And then it will be over.
You're fantasizing, Arathio. Without...
Not this time. Here we must go our separate ways. Believe me, I wish it were otherwise. But in your condition, you would just be a burden. And I cannot afford...
Ну да, хотя говорит, нажми здесь, потому что ты будешь просто над догрузкой. Типа, сори. Зачем ты говоришь? Какой план? Типа, высшее право, мы не можем использовать маяк, чтобы выгнать их. Ты помнишь, что сказал нам Архимагистр? Вот, ты помнишь, что сказал нам Архимагистр, что без энергии, типа, без направляющей вот это вот, Нуминус, просто этот самый маяк будет хуярить куда-нибудь. Вот, и поэтому он хочет, типа, зажечь, типа, без него маяк и ебануть большой взрыв. И, типа, предлагает разъебать здесь все, что есть, но заодно и высших забрать.
He wants to make sure it will happen. And we, prophetess, we may have failed in breaking the cycle for ourselves, but not for
вот,
the
и поэтому, типа, профит, я не знаю, даже там предсказательница, проповедник, проповедница, мы не можем разорвать круг для себя, мы можем разорвать круг для всех остальных. Для других людей в этом мире. Аразилов, Киров, Кайлов. Они все типа попали под круг, так же как и Enderal. И бла-бла-бла, еще я тебе рассказать, что типа люди крутые и так далее. Вот если мы убьем Корика, типа его армию, то мы докупим время для этих людей, чтобы собрать знания, и то, чтобы построить новый маяк и так далее, так далее. Так, то есть ты предлагаешь запустить маяк, но типа что с городом? Типа, зачем, то есть для врачов все должны умереть? Для тех, кого Нерим еще не убили, ты имеешь в виду? Они умрут, как ты и я. Но это типа все нужно для выживания человечества. И типа это то, ради чего стоит умереть. Ты же единственный путь, ты что, не видишь? И типа от того, чтобы сгинуть как пираньи, мы выбираем, чтобы наша смерть что-то значила, и так далее, и так далее,
We were so close to destroying them, and I have faith in the others out there who will fight them. They will succeed where this scum Sharim made us fail.
Что выбрать? Говорю, что он ебанутый.
What is this really about, prophetess? Your life? The life of this woman who is so dear to you? Now is not the time for arrogance and selfishness. All of this is about more than just us. That you fail to see this disappoints me, prophetess. I thought better of you than that. But it does not matter anymore. I've made my choice. I'm sorry.
Ну, типа, говорит, мне похуй. Я уже сделал свой выбор, так что завали.
It all begins with the dreams.
А вот и баба, которая высший хайванс. Ты теперь ресает меня или что? Она просто подлечила? Я не знаю просто, насколько мне было херово или не херово. То есть, что она сделала. То есть просто подлатала меня. Дала на штыря или, то есть, типа непонятно. Оставила меня одного.
Into the mind of a high one? I hope you're joking.
Говорит, investigate the portal. Давайте
This was their last stand. They are afraid of us. I feel it. You've killed us. You've killed us all. You have just shown me the solution.
Вот. И оказывается, типа, что, ну, то есть, все равно круг повторяется. То есть, его вот это вот, то, что он делает, это все равно приведется к тому же самому. Типа так все и уже так и было. Так, я зашел в портал, что дальше? Куда я попал и что я отсюда должен сделать? Я уверен, что типа запуск маяка на самом деле стартует очищение. Очень на то похоже. Также я уверен, что в итоге у меня будет выбор, заводить его или не заводить. Нет, это невозможно. Что, кто-то, что это за место? Почему ты здесь? Уходи, призрак. Ставь меня в моей печали. Фантом, о ком ты говоришь, типа, черт возьми? Что все это значит? Что ж, это не этот... Не дрема? Не дрема, как это правильно называется? Чё, похуй? Дрим, типа, ну да, сон, наваждение.
Why do you still exist? Her? But why? She does not have a mind. She does not have feelings. So why should
он чуть про нее даже знает, что это за машина такая.
But still you speak the truth. I can feel it. Then could it really be that the unlikeliest of all eventualities has become reality and brought you here? Coincidence or caprice, I do not know. The veiled woman cannot be understood. I am sorry. It's been too long since I've spoken to anyone. I have had many names. The Akarians called me the God of Death, the Moonskin people, the Warden of Dreams, the Pyreans, the Demon of the Deep. For your people I am, or was,
А вот и он.
Guardian.
Вот и он. Жестенько.
Pompous names, I know. However, I am none of these, neither god nor demon. I am only an eye, condemned to observe again and again.
Говорит, на самом деле я не бог и не демон, я всего лишь глаз, который вынужден смотреть за всем этим снова и снова.
As you measure time, older than your most daring chronicles go back, by far. I have seen them all, since our people fell. Every civilization, every cleansing, every turn of the cycle.
Ну как ты выживаешь время тогда очищения?
What? No. The Starlings came long after me. I was only a fool who wanted to save his own skin at any cost. I knew the cleansing would come. I had known it long before the Red Madness and the war started. But I also knew that fighting it as my people did, and as most do, was pointless. So I looked for another way to prevail. And I found it. What you see here is the result. The Goliath. As I like to call it back then.
Еще он решил не сразу, как все остальные из его вида, начал найти другой путь, потому что драться было бессмысленно, типа, и вот он нашел этот путь и сделал вот это вот Голиафа. Что это такое?
What is it? My self-dug grave. What it was meant to be was a body of steel, an immortal machine with which I planned to merge my consciousness. Only organic life could be reaped by the High Ones, and I thought that by becoming a machine, I could fool them. By the name of the sun, how brilliant I thought myself. I wanted to become a god, laughing in the face of time. But let me spare you my self-pity. What happened, happened. No. Joining the Goliath meant immortality. All I had to do was sleep and awaken once more when the cycle started again, and new life came forth. Except that this new life would not have been defenseless. I would have been a true god to them, one capable of protecting them from the High Ones. No imaginary figure like the Creator. No false gods like the Lightborn were, to speak in your language.
И вообще его план сработал, ведь Голиаф вот он здесь, он тоже тут, он выжил во время очищения.
Yes, but it happened faster than it should have. And when the cleansing occurred, the Goliath was not yet finished.
Не успел.
As the Emperor unleashed the light, I had no choice but to complete the joining too early. A fatal error, as it turned out. I did survive, yes. But I am trapped inside this unfinished machine. And ever since then, all I can do is watch. Again and again. Yes, but a part of the Goliath is the eye. It allows me to see what happens on the surface everywhere. Not as literal as you imagine, of course. I see schemes, feel emotions, similar to your gift, to the echo, but they are enough to understand. Yes, it was not how I planned it. The Goliath in its final form was meant to be divine, a synthesis of man and steel. But I overestimated myself, and I acted too quickly, driven by fear. No, you do not understand. You are stumbling through the fog, even now that it is almost over. By themselves, the High Ones are not the problem. If we would just see them as they really are, they would become powerless. Yes, it is hard to put into words.
Покажешь картинку
I
мне?
myself do not know everything about the High Ones. Only that they are part of something we call the cycle. The civilization arises and blossoms, and then, always at the same stage of their development, the High Ones appear, and with them, the Red Madness. People start losing their minds, wars erupt, and chaos rules. Until 2 or 3 years later, the cleansing happens. The moment when the High Ones devour the collective consciousness, the gathered minds of this civilization, to give birth to a new one of their own. Despite all of this, nobody knows what drives them. Perhaps they act out of malice, out of an urge to survive, or perhaps they do not even have a will of their own, but are like a force of nature. But I do know one thing, as powerful as they might be, it is mankind who gives them that power. We make them into what they are, because what nobody understands is simply this. The High Ones feed on what humanity has the most of. Their ego, greed, pride, fear, and their everlasting search for an enemy who is responsible for all their misery. It is those traits the High Ones make use of. These characteristics are what make us human. And by themselves, they are harmless. Only when we bury them, when we deny them, then they play into the High Ones' hands. So why is this, you ask? It is simple. The High Ones alone cannot make the cleansing happen. Only a human can. With the beacon, my knowledge about it is as limited as my knowledge about the cycle. It has existed since the beginning of time. And despite what you might now believe, the ancient writings about it are true. Lit by the ones who carry the Numenos, it can banish the High Ones once and for all. But it can also destroy us. Because what happens when it is lit without a core is far more than an explosion. It is the cleansing, the triumph of the High Ones. And even as we speak, a human, Tealor Orinthiol, has done it again. A bright light will appear from the heart of the machine and open a hole in the sky. And within hours, it will spread throughout the world, and they will all feel it. A fire that burns them from within. A white light which will break through their flesh. Do you understand now? The High Ones have no power. All they do is to feed on our weaknesses, manipulate us into bringing about our own destruction. It is we who forge the sword that kills us. We who lead them to their victory. Even though the key to salvation has always been in our hands. the same fate over and over. And only because we refuse to see the truth. Yes, the High Ones are our enemy. But who wants to hear that it is our ego, that dark voice within us, that empowers them? It is so ironic. The moment we would realize all this would be the moment it all came to an end. But we do not.
Вот так вот. Но с одной стороны мужик прав. В том плане, что маяк все же может их уничтожить. С другой стороны, без вот этого сердечника. Как раз их запустится очищение.
Dreams, thoughts, visions. They are everywhere. But the principle is always the same. They throw a tainted seed into a fertile ground. The rest happens by itself. Just think for a moment. When did the High Ones ever do anything other than manipulate you? Did they ever physically influence any events? They incited the Naramis to march against you, and time and again confirmed the righteousness of both your causes. All they told you, all they showed you, was what you wanted to hear, and what you wanted to see. And yes, if you, Tealor Renthial, his order, and the Naramis had never acted, the cleansing would never have happened. Maybe there is, but if so, I do not know it. But the more turns of the cycle I witness, the more I get the impression that it is some kind of trial. A cosmic game, woven by powers we have not even come close to comprehending. Maybe this is just wishful thinking, to give all this pain a meaning, when it does not have one. Maybe the High Ones are simply a law of nature, a concept, and we give birth to them by believing there is such a thing as an ultimate external enemy in the first place. The eternal struggle with ourselves. Perhaps that is just part of what it means to exist. Like 1,000 others before him, the High Ones knew exactly what they had to do to get him to commit this last act of desperation. They played him with his weaknesses and fears, like a figure on a chessboard. And the saddest part is that until the very end, he will believe that he has done something good. That was his greatest fear, yes, to be remembered as a failure, a broken man. That was the stream the High Ones manipulated him from the moment he died, after attempting to flee from his prison on Nerim. The real Arinthial, he is dead, prophetess. He is a fleshless one of the mightiest tools of the High Ones. Just as you are. I wish it were. The methods of how the High Ones influence us are plentiful, and the Red Madness and their ability to enter our dreams are not their only means. Their mightiest tool is the creation of projections, fleshless ones, or emissaries, as they are also called.
Вот это новости.
If a person dies, and if this person has one last unfulfilled wish, a compulsion, then the High Ones have the power to create a projection of him. An immaterial image of the deceased, which thinks itself real and is perceived as such.
Ты говоришь, что я не настоящий, что я иллюзия.
Not even the projection itself are two things. Firstly, it is driven by this last unfulfilled desire. Secondly, it becomes an idealized version of its former self, almost tailor-made to free itself from the last compulsion, that ultimate scourge. The daughters of fishermen become warriors. Broken generals become charismatic and driven leaders who seem almost too determined to be real. You are one of these projections, as are all of the emissaries. You are a fleshless one, a spirit searching for liberation from something. I do not know your past before you came to this land, because before you became the prophetess, you were insignificant. But what happened to you and your friend on that ship? You never survived it. You drowned in the Red Sea, and in that very moment, the High Ones entered your mind and made you into what you are today. And other than myself, the High Ones knew your compulsion, knew the desire that drove you. Whatever it was, it made you predictable, and it allowed them to play you, just as they played Arinthiel and Korak. Do you see it now? Every dream the High Ones sent you, every time they appeared to you, they all had but a single purpose: to feed your self-image, to push you in a certain direction.
Что ты здесь сюда пиздишь, мужик?
For their purposes, and they succeeded. You read the echo of the future, as other prophets did before you. You helped Arinthiel reconstruct the beacon, and led him to the Numinos. When he saw that it would be taken away from him at the very last instant, his fear of failure led him into doing what he did.
Еще ролик? Нет.
You are not to blame, prophetess. You did what countless others did before you, and you did it because you thought it was the right thing to do. Only one thing is different. In all the time I have been here, never before did a projection realize its own nature. You were meant to dissolve like the rest of mankind. Yet, here you stand, and I tell you the truth. This was never meant to happen.
Да, хоть говорится, что он сейчас, возможно, круг поломал. Потому что типа никогда за все сотни там других перерождений никто из этих проповедников и не посещал этого мужика и не знал правды. И умирали за свою правду и так далее. И теперь мне рассказал, это все может изменить, возможно, мне кажется.
They gave you impulses, nudges in the right direction. Those who know a person's past know which strings to pull. No, it is as I said. For as long as this cycle has existed, so has the beacon. It is an element of the game, and it has the power to end it, whether in favor of the High Ones or in favor of mankind. Yet for as long as I have been trapped here, the latter has never happened. The Starlings, in their time, were called the Yalam Rashe, and yes, they manipulated the game in their favor. Their goals were similar to mine when I created the Goliath. They were a small circle of highly intelligent craftsmen and mages. And just like myself, they did not think the cycle could be won by the beacon alone. So by unknown means, they fled into the sky and created something that protected their city from the cleansing. Yes, but knowledge about their history is sparse, since the Star City was almost beyond the reach of my eye. But I know that its first centuries were glorious. The Yalam Rashe lived in harmony, and their society was the pinnacle of all that mankind could be. With time, however, their population grew. They became too numerous for their small city, and so they invented their golden rules, which were supposed to control their growth. Having children was regulated now, and those who were found guilty of a crime were punished heavily. The worst sentence was being exiled. The convicted were robbed of their memories and sent back to Earth. This is where the starlings of your world come from, do you see? And this is why they all feel this longing to return to a far distant place in the stars. It is an ancestral memory. I do not know. As I said, my knowledge about the starlings was always limited. All I do know is that one day they were gone. I could not feel them anymore. By that time, their society had become but a shadow of what it once was. But whether they destroyed themselves or left for someplace else, I will never find out.
Так, парадик понятно теперь. То есть я уже знаю, чем закончилось все для 2 раз, если не для 3. Но не ответил ни на один мой вопрос, который важный.
I've done nothing else for a very, very long time. But it is true, whether you want to believe it or not. In time, you would have noticed it. The wrinkles in your skin would not have become any deeper, nor your hair any whiter. And if the cleansing were to be stopped, you would continue to exist forever. What reason would I have to lie to you? Oh, stop it. No, it is too late for that. By the name of the sun, it is so ironic that the veiled woman did not lead you here earlier. It is over, prophetess. You are strong, but regardless of how long your power can protect you from the light of the cleansing, eventually you will dissolve too. Even if... Wait. No. Maybe you are right. Maybe there is a way.
Придумал что-то. Что ты хочешь сказать?
No. It would be pointless. Forgive me, I have to think. Yes, there could be a way. What I told you is true. Here on Earth, you would not survive the cleansing. But there is one place where you could. The Star City. I know that you brought something back from your journey there. The escape pods. And I know that they can also take you back there, for I have seen the Yalam Rashe, the ancient starlings, do so. Whatever has protected the city over all these millennia, it would protect you too. Yes, you could survive it. By the face of time, you could. No, it would not. But that is irrelevant. You are fleshless, a projection. And just like me, time cannot touch you. Age cannot kill you. and thus you could succeed where I have failed. You could wait for the cleansing to be over, and then create a new humanity. Create a new humanity. It is only a matter of time until the new turn of the cycle starts. New life will come forth. First, simple life, then human. And just like the civilizations before them, they will also fall victim to the High Ones, because they will have the same weaknesses as we do. But not with your help. You could be a god to them. You could guide their ascent. You could shape a mankind free of egos and weaknesses. And by doing so, you would deprive the High Ones of their power. Just imagine, in this new world, there would be no need for a beacon, because the High Ones simply would not have any strings to pull on. Mankind will defeat them by becoming superior.
Еще он предлагает мне отправиться обратно в Звездный город при помощи тех подов, которых оттуда спустился. Потому что механизмы, которые защищают их очищение, типа, идеи до сих пор работают. Я могу туда прилететь, поскольку я проекция, а не настоящий человек. Года меня не трогают. Поэтому я смогу пережить те века, пока, типа, нет никого, и смогу зародить новое человечество. Причем воспитать его так, чтобы не было никаких способов влиять на этих людей. То есть, типа, убрать... ну, короче, свести все к коммунизму предлагает, в общем говоря, если в двух словах.
The High Ones reap, we sow. It is our weakness that make the High Ones strong. Our ongoing fragility. And if not for that, the High Ones would be powerless. You could be the one to create a humanity like that. Altruism instead of greed. Self-responsibility instead of the continuous search for an enemy. Awareness instead of blindness. The Lightborn tried to force their ideals onto an already rotten people. Just like the Pyrean Sun Priest and the countless false deities before them. You cannot save a tree whose roots have already withered. But with you as a deity to lead this new mankind, it would be entirely different. You could completely change what it means to be human. And would it not be presumptuous to rob the world of this chance? Simply because you are afraid of failing? Believe me, I would give a lot for this chance. No, they are already dead, damn it. Orinthiel has lit the beacon. And unlike anything else you could do right now, this would be a chance for permanent change. By the face of time, do not let all of this become meaningless. Every second you waste doubting lessens your chance to get to safety.
Короче, я бы на своем месте, если бы я там был, я бы на самом деле забрался бы на него, принял бы какую-нибудь фановую позу, дождался бы очищения, чтобы когда-нибудь через много-много сотен лет сюда приехал еще какой-нибудь проповедник, он увидел вот этого парня, говорящего, смотрящего и так далее, он бы затирал ему в уши, где-нибудь вот здесь бы я вот там условно раздвигал бы свою очеку у него на голове в виде трупа. Это было бы охуенно.
Yes, because that old starling did harm to the city by trying to destroy a crystal. That awoke the Guardians, but they are asleep now. I can feel it. You would be safe, believe me.
Но я не хочу оставлять их умирать.
Yes, I regret that I did. Please, right now, you have the chance to break a millennial-old pattern. Do not let it go to waste. I beg you. You are so stubborn. But, well, you might be able to destroy It consumes everyone who gets too close to it. But you, as a projection, you might be able to do it. It will not stop what the beacon has already done, but it will interrupt it. However, it would mean your death. Yours and that of all life in Enderal. It is too late to save them now. And even if you succeed, it changes nothing. Yes, Korik would be dead. But do you think the High Ones would just give up? They would retreat for a few years. Decades, maybe. No more. And then it would all happen again. Until another emissary lights the beacon. Trust me, I know humans far better than I would like to. Within a few years you would be forgotten, and they would win, as they always do.
На самом деле, есть план.
Even if there were someone, do you think anyone would listen? If you were to tell them that humanity itself is to blame, that the ultimate enemy does not even exist.
Я уверен, кстати, что, типа, поскольку я являюсь проекцией Хайстванов, то я, по идее, могу направить маяк на них. То есть, по идее, можно мне засунуть в маяк направляющий, спасти этих людей.
You are delaying the inevitable, nothing more. And you are throwing away a chance, which we might never have again. Then you will change nothing. But what can I do? I am powerless. Go. Do what you must. And deal with the consequences. There is one more thing I need to ask of you, however. One final request.
Попросит убить себя.
I want you to shut me down.
Да. Еще когда пальцем обоссать мужик.
Yes. I want to finally rest. I will not spend another 1,000 years watching this tragedy unfold. You could have changed it, but you did not. There is nothing I can do now. Please, do it. The switch is in front of you. That was how I connected myself to the Goliath. It will cut the connection as well. Do it, and then go. Go and fulfill your fate.
Что я сделал?
Forgive me. The two of us will now exchange places.
Хочется меняться со мной местами?
I am sorry for the deception. And if there were another way, I would not do this. You could have made the right choice, but you refused. And I will not see this chance go to waste. I cannot. Once this is all over, I will send someone to free you from the Goliath. But until then...
Over here, Sayura. Quickly.
Четко. Секунду, я его подвигал, нет? Вот так вот. Мадам спасла меня.
By the name of the sun, are you alright? I was so worried when...
Miserable fool! I would have kept my word, but if you want to play games, fine! I have had enough time to practice!
Oh, Kirosh. What are you doing? You're leaving us killed. We need to deal with these things first.
You are not fit to become a god! You see, what have you achieved? I deserve this!
Тем я занимаюсь. Не уверен.
Oh, Kirosh.
You damn fool! We could have built a better world together! But you've thrown it all away! For who, prophetess? For this wench?
Непонятно. Нормально меня бахает. Я что-то не так делаю. Еще есть варианты.
Oh, Kirosh. What are you doing? You get yourself killed.
This place is mine! And I will take what I deserve!
Лететь, давай убьем. Что дальше, подруга?
The shields are down. The generator's down. Oh, weapon gods. Get away from its face now. The shields are down. The generators now.
No! What have you done?
suppose the explanations will have to wait. I had a feeling that might be the case. Go on ahead. I will follow.
Как она выжила? Ничего, сняли какую-то часть с сетом.
I had assumed as much. Yuslan and he didn't even try to help me after that dragon attacked us. I was lucky to find another way in, otherwise I would never have found you. And you are... My head, it feels as if it's on fire.
Да, клининг начался.
This must be the cleansing. If this is how it feels down here, then fate have mercy on those who are on the surface. Don't you feel anything? Then the Black Guardian was right, wasn't he? What you are, your fleshlessness, it protects you. Kirash, I just don't understand. You are here, standing right before me, and I can see you. How is that possible? Could you really be an illusion? I suppose so. So, what now? Your decision, is it final? I don't know, but there is a secret passage into the south quarter. If I can reach the Myrad there, I might be able to flee to one of the islands. I think I can make it, somehow. Yes, they have to. Then I should leave this place before it is too late. This burning, it's getting worse by the minute. Kira is close enough to reach it by Myrad. Maybe the Golden Queen will listen to me. Then the rest is up to them. Things would have been different without you, Saira. I will not forget you. You do what you have to.
Так, уничтожить. Телепортироваться, уничтожить. Сан Темпл. И найти Джеспера, как вариант. Еще предлагают. Я думаю, что там тоже будет норм из History с тем, что его отклинит по полной. Зарк, ты пропустил прошлых 2 секса, так что... Стоп. Если двигает, скорее всего, уничтожит эти вот 3 камня. Джаспар над однотелом, по идее, должен лежать внутри. Нет? Давайте поищем его. Видимо, где-то снаружи лежит. Здесь Самаэль нашелся. Еще жива. Там еще можно вроде проникнуть. Алхимику в арморе. Ими можно взломать замок, возможно, но не открыть дверь. Ничего, где Джаспар? Как мне его найти? Ты какого хера здесь жив? Тебя же убили. Может, это там будет? Ой, я нашел его.
I thought you were dead. The beacon. The Nermese. They tried to storm the temple, as the Grand Master said they would. We tried to stop them, but there were just too many of them. Arenthil, he came back. But Sakarish, Yuslan, and you, he said that the High Ones got you. But that he had, yes. Just then the Nermese broke through the gate. But it all happened so quickly. There was this flash, and suddenly the light, it burns us. But I suppose it doesn't matter anymore, does it? Tell me, my fair lady, why was the beacon? What? But you're here. That must mean something, right? Yes. It's strange. Here I am, Jaspar Delveric, the man who for once in his life wanted to be part of something good. Man, some great hero I am. But you know what? I don't regret it.
Все? Нет, это чегошник, который все запустил. Что же должно было сгореть? Ну ладно.
Erlander, is that you? What? No, you're undone. I saved them. Don't you see? I led them to the light. Alone.
Как убить его, зарубить нельзя. Опять с батей поговорить. Только теперь, наверное, здесь останутся совсем. Потому что он сказал, что на последний раз уходит. Но, видимо, не на последний раз. Сейчас семья будет ждать, например, лол. Нет? Дверь закрыта, значит, надо что-то другое сделать. Уже было. Так, еще я сделать должен? Вход, дверь должна открыться. Либо что-то делаю не так, либо я хз. Так, это что у нас?
A great philosopher once said that every change begins with a moment of lucidity.
Все четверо, да,
In
типа?
these moments, a veil opens. One which normally shrouds all the unwelcome truths we're aware of, but which we've buried deep within ourselves where we cannot see them. And it is only these moments in which we can make a decision. The decision to either act, or to let the moment pass until the veil seals itself again and we once more are the slaves of our habits. I don't believe in revolutions. They are too simple, too fiery, and they too often end with the opposite result of what was intended. But neither am I a cynic who has lost all faith in the world. Change is possible, but it won't come as a big bang, but rather as a long path, one that will constantly confront us with obstacles. Obstacles we can either choose to overcome, or at which we choose to quietly turn around and go back to being what we were. The sacrifice of the one who will be remembered as the prophetess is proof that I am right. Yes, some might see the downfall of Enderal as the triumph of the High Ones, but it wasn't. It was neither that nor a triumph for mankind. What we were granted was a moment of lucidity, the chance to start our own walk down a long, rocky path. The High Ones exist because we believe in them. We, our egos, give them their power. And the more we listen to their words, the more we hate them, the more powerful they become. Indeed, the beacon, this ancient machine of unknown origin, can destroy us. But it can also free us from the High Ones once and for all, if we use it right. Rumors that the Arizalians have started constructing a second beacon, and the knowledge that this time we are aware of its nature, give me hope that the woman I loved has not died in vain. And that we continue walking.
Achievement unlock, free at last. Эта игра закрылась. Ладно, я посмотрю титры на этом, на стриме.